Good morning, beautiful. It's a beautiful day. Welcome back, everybody. My name is D, and together we are Guiding D Light. Just a nice, calm, relaxing, peaceful Sunday morning on Memorial Day. And the thought keeps crossing my mind. That's why I'm doing this quick little video, even though I'm out here in my sweaty white t-shirt. But think about this. So we go through so many different stages and evolutions of our everyday life, right? And then when we start peeking through the clouds, right, we start peeking out of the valleys and we start honing into really who we are, right? We still have these thought structures that have been programmed into us, right? But what I mean by that is, in certain situations come up, instead of just writing them off, maybe expel them out different, right? Change the way you think about certain situations, right? I know one thing that was key for me a couple years back, that I've been fortunate enough to see what I was doing and then understand how to correct it, right? So it used to be, I wish these dogs wouldn't do this. Well, these dogs, these damn dogs. But then I got to thinking about it, right? And I changed the way I was thinking about my dogs. And they started, because I was putting different thoughts and structures and magic behind the spells, right? When I was doing all that, I didn't realize I was forcing them to be the way that I didn't want them to be. Think about that. Forcing something through your thought pattern and your belief into something you really don't want. I think we all do that, right? It was really important for me too when I first woke up that I told everybody, right? That I explained everything to everybody, and I'm not sure that was the best move, right? It did cause some weird turbulences. Right, the best thing we can do is just radiate and be what we want to be, right? When we try to force what we want to be on different people, it's our truth versus their truth, and it's like a little friction point, right? But instead of being, I wish you would just believe it, right? I wish you would just believe me. Change that into, I understand where you're at, and I hope one day you see as I do. I love you for who you are. I hope your perception of the way things are will change. Right? To have that reset of how you respond to things is very crucial. And as you work up through your progressions, if certain situations make you angry, and then because you're angry, you have a certain outcome or a certain outcome, certain scenario walks out, and if you still got that aggression, how do you work past it, right? For a lot of us, we just go with what we've known, right? When our back's up against the wall, right, when we get in that fight response, we just do exactly what we know that we can do. But if we don't react, right, if we understand and acknowledge it, and then we don't bury it by, you won't ever understand me. Do you want that person to ever understand you? I didn't understand it at first when I was doing it to myself. I think a lot of people don't understand me, and that's fine. It's like picking your battles, right? Understanding, what people to try to really explain this to, and what people just to try to let it go. You don't have to explain anything to anyone. And in fact, the more radiant you become and the more focused on yourself that you become, if you become really good at controlling you, everything else around you wants to link up. if you will, wants to communicate, wants to understand what it is that made you, right? I think so many of us get caught in ourselves, which is fine, but then some of us don't have a broad perspective upon what actions we take dictate what future realities or outcomes happen. I see, that's why I'm making this video. I'm trying to be calm too, because I want to show you guys, I'm not always just smashing the gas, balls to the wall, although that's how I like to be. But there's some times where I sit back and I'm memorness. I don't know, that word's kind of weird off the tip of my tongue. But I think about my struggles of my journey or my future and my path and all of these little different things that I've been through, right? And it hasn't been easy. There's been times, especially when I had 2 kids and 2 puppies, my brother was like, dude, you're crazy. What are you doing? And I'm like, well, it's what the wife wanted. That's what the family gets. Knowing that there was going to be a little friction there for myself to go through, right? The dogs were always aggressive and very hyperactive. They're Australian Shepherd mix, or Australian Shepherd pure breed, and they like to herd, and they like to be active. They got a lot of energy, but they said they were smart dogs. And I kept saying, you guys are supposed to be so smart. Why can't you understand? You're the dumbest dog I've ever seen. Well, I forced them into keep doing dumb shit. It's like I set up my own ticker. Like I like to be, it's so weird, but when I walked it back and I started saying, giving the dogs more love, good dogs, and reassuring things, and scolding them for the other things, over a course of a year or so, the way they reacted to certain situations changed as well. And then obviously that created a different structure on how I viewed my dogs, right? Because it was, why did I let the family get dogs? Why did I even, I didn't even want a dog. But now I got 2 dogs. They're about almost 2 years old now, and working with them and understanding how much they want to protect me, and how they see little things that we can't, and they're good at being my little guard dogs, right? If they sense something, you can tell. And then if I'm not fully on my game at my point, I didn't feel it come in, but they sensed it, so then I can kind of tune in and understand what it is, right? That's another thing, guys. Sacred space is sacred space. You have to really value that person's sacred space, and you have to respect it, right? You can jump in anybody's field or anybody's space and kind of feel their energy and walk with them for a little bit, if you will, but to constantly burden somebody with your projections in their field, yes, it is necessary at times for confirmations and understandings, and especially with telepathic communication, but to understand that you hold your own sacred space, and that you don't need to be spending time in other people's sacred spaces. You need to spend time in your own space, right? That's where I'm going back to, the whole message of this video is rethink how you think, but then also understand you could have everything lined up exactly where you want it, but because of the way that you react when something has a reaction within your situation, right? If you act more in that caring and compassion and just bless them, and know that that's not going to always be the case, things will shift and evolve and change. But if you persistently say that they're not going to get it, they're not going to receive it, they're not going to have it, they're not going to want it, and nobody's going to understand me, right? That's another one. Don't say that. I'm just crazy, nobody understands me. Yeah, well, we are a little bit crazy, to the norm, But if you look around the light community and you find bright individuals like myself and you sit down and have a conversation, you realize that you're one of the lucky few that literally comprehends and can see what evolution is bringing us, right? You can project yourself on a path so high of greatness, right? Everybody wants to talk about that number one stock to buy, or that number one this or that. This, invest in this, right? Well, invest in yourself, because we're going to change the future. We already are changing the future. And by us investing in ourselves, us conquering us, we conquering me, you conquering we, think about that. The better we get at our own situations, the better, I really like I had that I'm going to change the world, right, mentality. And I still feel like that. And I'm going to, I am. Stop using going, can't, try, may. Start putting power behind actions and have the action behind the power, right? But that's the thing. We get like we want to change the world, right? And we start doing all these thoughts of this and that, but we're not actually changing ourselves or our environment, right? If you want to change the world, change yourself, right? Become a better person in your family life. Bring unity to your family life. And then branch out upon that into your work life, into your play life, into your different relationships, right? As you pull everything together, right, your house becomes cleaner. You keep your car cleaner. Things are organized. Therefore, your time is more efficient because you're not spending time looking for stuff, right? Something has a place that has getting yourself in order through your house and your environment is very empowering. And when you get yourself in order, other people take notice, right? And when other people take notice, you're able to share a little bit of what you did. But in the same sense, it doesn't always have to be esoteric, right? You can explain things to people using key words. You get really good at your vocabulary. This has taken me a couple years to develop, right? I used to be a ticking time bomb ticker, right? Like, I could really I can get underneath somebody's skin really fast because I'm bringing truth, and sometimes people don't want to hear the truth, right? But what I'm saying is, get everything in line around yourself. Get everything in line within what you can control, right? Stable conditions in this 3D experience allows you to open up the harmonic experiences above you, right? If you're not always worried about this or that, or the house payment, or the bills, or how am I going to feed the kids, if you're not always constantly worrying about that, it does change. But you have to take the steps and the actions to rebuild your surroundings, to rebuild your house of God, right? It doesn't happen overnight, and it might not even happen within 5 years, but if you put a certain amount of action behind it, if you put a certain amount of compassion behind it, and you understand that as long as you keep working on yourself, everything else around you is going to work, right? I don't know why, but I went through it as well too. It's, you feel like once you put on that God I am presence, that Godhead comes on, you feel like you have to play God, but you don't. But in the same sense, in that feeling, you want to change the world and everything, but you forget about you. You forget about your surroundings and what brings you happiness and joy within you, right? So when you step back from it all and you say, how can I better myself? How can I stay more organized? How can I, cook better for myself? How can I do all these little things within your life to make your life better, right? And once your life's better, if you look around, the amount of influence and change that you put throughout your little circle of existence, the circle is more beautiful. There's more flowers. There's more people expanding within that. I'm starting to get bit by mosquitoes. Must be Memorial Day weekend. So, with that said, guys, I want everybody to know you don't have to be super amped all the time. you can stay super mellow and super calm. In fact, that's kind of the best. But if you're amped up, your actions get done quicker. So if you're full of action, you get it done, and then you sit back and you wait for all of that change and stuff that you did to trickle in. That's been the word of the week for sure, was patience, right? Did your patience get tested this week? Did your patience end up prevailing, right? Did you stay calm in this little patience of a storm, right? Because everybody wants it now. I get that. Where I come from, if you think now, you get now. So for us to have to learn how to delay that pleasure of the thought of what we want, it's not very easy for someone who is a very powerful, multidimensional being. But that's a lesson we can learn here, right? And daggone horseflies getting me. Them horseflies hurt. When I start biting, they don't stop biting. Totally broke my concentration. But anyways, guys, 16 minutes already. I'm gonna get off here, but just think about that. Stay calm. Work on yourself. As you change yourself, the rest of the world changes, right? We need these little packs of 20 people who just get it, right? Who are just living vibrant lives and excited to be who they are, right? So I look at a lot of these people that aren't esoteric at all, but because they put themselves to a position where they have a steady foundation, a good home, and, you know, a family life and stuff, their matrix and the way that their foundation is set up, they're way more ready than some of these people who are at rock bottom, right? But they understand these natural gifts and ability, so they want to go down that route, right? But they never really stabled the foundation, right? So they can build an amazing castle, if you will, esoterically. But at some point, until they come back around and really focus into the present 3D life, right, it's going to fall, right? If you sit in your house or your apartment every day and just meditate and you don't have any action, yes, it is a beautiful, humbling experience, but you won't have anything. You're giving it away. And for some people, that's okay. And I honor that. And there's nothing wrong with that, no judgment. But build your surroundings that support you. So then when you go to something, you have a safety net. You are supported, right? That's what I'm saying. Build your family. Build yourself. Change everything that you can control. And then some of the stuff we have no control on, the hand's forced to control, or for the controller to control it and to change it because it's not working. We have such a unique ability, and we're so powerful beyond beliefs, and the amount of energy that surrounds us. Some of our ancestors roll their eyes and like, we did it without it. You guys are so lucky. We had to go through this without it. You know, there's still resentment within benevolent energy, right? God just blessed them, give them all the energy, give them everything they need, all the tools, and they still can't figure it out. All right, that's enough. Think about that, guys. Focus on what you're thinking about. Focus on how you control certain situations. Focus on how you respond to somebody not agreeing to you, right? I don't think she'll ever get it is just going to cause so much force of distraction and depressant that you're not even going to know how to handle it. You have to reassure people, right? You have to give them the confidence you have. You don't want to just write somebody off, because that's essentially draining that person as well. So rethink about how you say certain things and how certain situations come up and it makes you mad, and then how you respond, right? When you pay attention to those things, I know it doesn't sound like much, but it's been a huge game changer for my life. And I'm sharing that this morning because I'm reaping the fruit, my benefit of my labor, my action that I changed the whole reaction of what I live. I just want to say I love you, family. I love you all. Enjoy the rest of this Memorial Day weekend. The sun's hot. Use your sunscreen. I've already got a little crisp, but it's okay. It's supposed to be 85 tomorrow, and I'm going swimming for the first time this year. I'm super stoked. You guys, as always, stay true, be you, and until next time, peace.